Okay, so our project for today, it will be movies or get movies. We'll try to get movies from a specific API, which I share the URL with you. You need your API key, of course. So what dependency do I need for this project? Of course, I need to go to Material UI and I have 3 libraries. I need to install them. So if I go now to Material UI, click on this one and click on Material UI, it will tell me install this 3 library. I've did first. Second, I'm also installing React icons because maybe I need some icons. That should be simple. And I'm also installing Axios because I want to use Axios to send my HTTP request. So that's the dependency library. Are they clear? So Material UI, Axios, and React icons. That's it. For their dependency, I need one library, which will be Prettier. That's Prettier, and I need to add script for Prettier, which will be Prettier space dash dash write space dot. And of course, I need to install Prettier. For Prettier, also, I need to create this file. Which file? You need prettier.rc.json. You already have this one, so I don't need to explain. I've shared the setting with you. So all you have to do, just create this file, and then you will put this setting here. What this library is doing is just make 4 spaces for all the component GSX, GS, HTML, and CSS. Make 4 spaces. It's better to read and see. Other than that, I don't have anything. Okay, first, I need to create a new file in my root. So see, it must be in my root directory. So it must be here, not inside SRC. It must be inside the root. And this file, it will be .env. So what is .env for? We use it for? Well, if we have some keys, some API keys, we shouldn't show our API keys on our code. Why? Because these API keys, it's for you. So we need to store them somewhere. And this somewhere here, it will be in .env. So we will see that a lot in the backend, because in the backend, we put a lot of variable inside our .env. Anything you don't want anyone to see, you should put it in this file, which is called .env. Yes. I'm sorry? No. Just for, because we are using now Vite, because you are using, now normally in the backend, we need to install a library called .env. Here, you don't need to, because you are using Vite. You just need to create a folder here, .env, and after that, you can put your variable here, but it must start with Vite. So like, notice here, it must start with Vite. If it does not start with Vite, you cannot see it. So it must be Vite underscore API underscore key, and that's my API. Okay? This API. No, this API, when I told you, you need to register your email, and then you will get your API on your email. So this API, if I go now to my, let me go to my GitHub. Ah, you mean we send this one to GitHub? No. So this API, we shouldn't push it to GitHub. If I go to now to get.get-ignore, notice I added to my .env. So that's what you need to do. But the problem here, your project is not gonna work. Why? Because you don't have API key. So anyone want to use your project need to install it and then create a .env file and then put his own API key. Because I mean, that's my API key.
Maybe because I use paid API or something.
Some APIs are paid because now some of them are free. They allow you certain, but if you exceed that, you need to pay. And it's not a good idea. It's a really bad idea to push this .env variable to GitHub. Never you will do that. Okay? So here in your .get-ignore, you need to add your .env. You should never send it to GitHub. Never. But if you deploy your project to Netlify allow you to enter the variable. Okay? I'll show you now when we finish the project and deploy it to Netlify, there is something called variable, and I can put my variable there and I say API key, Vite API key, and it will work. Okay? That's good now. So we created our API key. Remember, .env must be in the root folder. You cannot put it inside SRC. It must be in the root folder here. Okay, I put my .env here, and I created this one, Vite underscore API underscore key. Remember, your environment variable must start with Vite. And by convention, we use all caps. So as you can see, all the letter cap. And if there are multiple words, we We connect them using underscore, okay? So Vite underscore API key. That's the first one we solve it. Now let's go to our API. Now what we are trying to do here, we are trying to get movies. So let's create our API const get movies. It's equal to, it will be what? Async function, right? So not here, it must be async function. And voila. And I need to do that. I will create it. I need to export it directly because I know I need to export it. Voila, I did export it like that. Get movie is not correct. It should be uppercase M. Voila, now it's better. Now, for this function here, when I'm trying to get movie, I need whatever the user type. For example, the user type told, I need this value. Because if I don't have this value, I cannot send a request to the backend to get the movie. So this API, it will receive something, we call it value. Value like that. I need to pass whatever the user type to get this value. If I don't have this value, I cannot send a request. It will be an empty string, okay? What is the first step here? First step, when I'm building my API, try and catch, block. Guys, I did it a million times. Try and catch. And if I have an error, what should I do? I need to console.log it, right? Okay, that's fine. Now, if I go here, of course, now I'm using Axios, so I will need Axios, right? So I can just say const response, it's equal to Axios like that. And if I hit enter, it will, if I hit enter, it will import Axios automatically for me. So Axios.get, and now, of course, now I need the URL here. So I will put the URL like that. Then I don't remember the URL, so I'm gonna go to Slack to copy it. So I'm gonna copy this one. Copy. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's here. Let me just put it here. I remove this one, I remove this one, and put this guy here. Okay, fine. Now, what is my API key? Now I need to replace my API key with something, right? So this API key, as you can see, your API key, I'm gonna delete it, delete it, delete it, delete it. Voila, until equals. Then I need to insert a variable in a string. I am in backtick. What should I do? I'm in backtick. I want to put a variable inside. $, curly brace. So $, and I need to put curly brace like that, and now I can insert my variable. But how can I insert variable in Vite here? I need to use, say, meta dot import, if I'm not mistaken, dot meta dot import dot no, there's something else it was. I don't remember, but let me check. Import dot in variable in Vite meta dot import dot something. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So I need to do that. Import dot meta dot env. I need to use this structure. Why? Because Vite, as you can see, if you go to the documentation of Vite, it's telling you how to import the variable. So I need to say import dot meta dot env, and then I will link whatever the name of my environment. So let's go here, and here I will say import. As you can see, I have import dot meta. I have meta, and it was dot env, right? Dot env, and then I can say dot. See, that's my API key now. Vite API key. Voila. And that's how I import my environment variable in Vite. By the way, if you create your React project using React app, it will be different. But if you are using Vite, because there's multiple way to create React project. If you are using Vite, it must be like that. Import.meta.env and the name of my variable, which is, if I go now to .env, it's called Vite underscore key app API underscore key. And as you can see, Vite underscore API underscore key. Okay, now I manage now to import my API key. Now I need to insert the value here. So after the S, I need to insert the value. It's a variable, so I need another $, and curly brace, and here I will just need to insert the value like that, value. And voila. And like that, my URL is quite complete. Any question here? I'm sorry? I know. Indeed, we use await here. Let's save it, voila. Now, after that, what should I do? Well, I told you in Axios, we normally have our data inside what? So inside response dot data. So let me check. I can just say if res dot status is not equal to 200, if it's not equal to 200, what should I do? Well, I should throw an error, right? So I will throw a new error. Of course, I don't want that. I told you I need the status. So I can just say here, yeah, HTTP error status, I need the status code. Else, what do I need to return? Well, else I want to return res.data. And remember here, I don't need to use await here because Axios automatically pass my data. I don't need to use, for example, res.json or something like that. No, Axios automatically pass my data. Is it clear here? Should be clear. So that's my API key here, and the value here, it's also, I will, whenever I call this API, I need to pass the value, and that's it. Should be clear. Let's close this one. Let's click this one. And now let's go to my component now. Now in the app.gsx, here, I will need a few stuff here. Actually, let me start with the header. How can I create a component? RAFCP. So RAFCP, it will create a component for me. I don't need the React. Prop, I will need a prop because I'm using the header. I need to use title like that. And of course, here I don't need that. I will not use material UI, but you need to use it. Okay. Here I'm just trying to explain the logic for you. Okay. So here I need the header or whatever you want to. And inside the header, I'm gonna use H1. Yeah, that should be good, I think. And here the return should be like that. And voila. Of course, it's not working because I need to put this one inside parentheses. Now it will work. Oh, come on. Okay. Cool. So I'm just importing my title. It's nothing new. So now I need to define what data type of the title. What is the data type? String. So here I will just say prop type dot string dot is required. So I created my title and my header. That's simple. For the loading, I already sent the loading code for you. So yeah, here let's just create it, RAFCP. You can just copy paste it from Slack. I think there were 2 divs. But if you are going to use Material UI, you don't need that. In Material UI, we already have something called spinner or loader. So here I don't need any data. Here, let's for example, now just type loading because there is no logic here at all. I don't need prop type. I don't need this one. Okay, for the movie container, what do I know? Let's go to search first. Now the search here, it will be a form. Okay, it will be a form. So when I type something, and I click enter, I want this value, and I will use this value to send a request to the backend to get the movie which belong, or this value I type included inside the movie title. So how can I create it? Well, it's quite simple. I can just say RAFCP. Here, I don't need that. Voila. And here, I don't need any props for now. I need to create a form. So let's create a form here. Form like that. And inside the form, what do I need? What do I need inside my form? I will need an input type, text, and also maybe I need a button. Okay, let's name it search like that. And that's all I need in my form, nothing more. I will need a piece of state here. Do I need any state here or not? Do I need any state here or not? Of course, I need a state because I want to see whenever the value of the input changes, I need the value of this input. So I can just say const, let's name it value. Let's name it value. And here, let's name it set value. And voila, by default, it will be an empty string. Or maybe if you want by default your movie, when you refresh to grab some movie, specific movie, you can put a default value here. Maybe I can just say man. And man here, it will grab every movie, this title included man inside it. For example, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and everything here. So every movie title included man inside. Now it will grab by default and it will show it in my project. For the prop title here, I don't need any prop. I don't need that, but I need to import my use state, right? So let's import this one, import use state like that, use state. One it is from React, voila. And of course, now I need to go to my input here and I need to add a value. So the value, it will be value. And here, whenever my movie changes, I need to add an event. Now, what is the event? On change. So here I can just say on change. It's equal to, I need to receive the event. Or I can create a function if I want to. It really depends on what you want. Here, I need to use now set value, which will be equal now to event.target.value. Event.target.value. Value like that. Voila. And that should be fine, I suppose. Yeah, let's try to do that. So I'm gonna import my header, my loader, my search, all of them inside the app.js. Not all of them, actually. I need the header and I need search in app.jsx. So let's import both. So I'm gonna import my header first, import header. And I need to import my search, right? Import. My keyboard is not working well. We call it search, right? No. And now let's render them here. So here I will put my title and then I will put my search like that. And now if I go to my component, I should have something. Click. Well, that's for now, that's what I want. Cool. Now, of course, whenever I change the value of the input, let's go to the input here. Where is it? The search. Whenever I change the value of this input, what happening here is the value so this value, it will change. So I can log it. Let's log it to see. Let's log value and see if that will gonna change or not. Click, refresh. I don't want it to be man. Let's type anything. And if we go to console.log, as you can see, voila. So whenever I'm typing anything, as you can see, the value is changing, voila. So I'm grabbing my value, that's good. So the first part is working. Now, what I need to do here, I need somehow to send this value inside the app.jsx. Yes, sir. Yeah, actually, we will need it because now I need to add on submit event. So now it's this one all alone, it will not work. I need to add on submit. Why? Because I don't want when I type to send a request to the backend. No, I want when I click enter or click on the button. So in this case, I have no other option. I need to add another event here, which is called on what? On submit. And on submit here, and now what I can do, I can create a function. I can just say submit handler. Submit should be lowercase. Submit handler. Voila. Handler should be uppercase. Now let's create our function, which is called submit handler. And now here I can just say const submit handler. And now I will need the event Daria, as you can see. And here, of course, here I need to prevent the default, then I can console log. But here, as you can see, I'm receiving the event. So a better practice here, it will be not to do it this way, to pass a function, pass the event, and then I can call my submit handler, and here it will receive the event. Voila. Clear? Yes, because here I'm passing my event, so I cannot pass it directly. I cannot execute my function. Now, if I go to this guy here and I refresh, now if I type something, let's type test, for example. Test, I need to remove this one here from my component, console.log here. And now here it will only log when I click enter or click on the button. Let's go here again, refresh. And now it's man. Let's type Superman, for example, Superman like that. Nothing is happening, but if I click enter, voila, I have my Superman. Or if I click in this one, search, I have Superman. Is it quite clear now? That should be simple. Now, we need to learn a little bit how we can use the context API. Okay, so why do we need the context API? I need to explain it later. Why do we need it? But for now, as you can see, I need this value inside my app.jsx, right? I'll need it. So to create what we call context API, I'm going here, and in the source here, I'm going to create a new folder. And this folder, I'm going to name it context. as you can see, it will give me an icon here. So context has a nice icon. As you can see, if I click on it, voila. Now I need to create a context. We name it search. You can name it whatever you want to, but the context I'm gonna create, I will name it search context. Okay. So let me click on this one, create a new file, and I will name it search. Need to be uppercase actually. Search. Yeah, maybe name it search movie or just search. Let's name it search context, like that. .js. Voila. So now how can I create an API context? Well, first I need to install from React, or I need to import from React something called create context. So I can just now here say import, and its name import, and I can use create context. And here, as you can see, we have a function here. It's imported from React. We can name it create context. And first I need to import this create context. Second, now I need to create a variable here. And this variable here, it will be the same as the name of my file, as you can see. So I name it search movie. I need to name it search movie. Search movie like that. So I've created my variable, and I told you this variable must be the same as the name of my file. Now I will execute this function. I told you create context is a function, right? So now I need to execute this function. Voila. And of course, it's a function, so I need to execute it. And now all I have to do, I need to export search context. So export search context. So that's how we create our context API. It's super simple. At first, I need to create a folder called context, and it has a nice icon, as you can see. And inside this context, I can create multiple different contexts. But now, for now, I just need one, which is called search context. I make it uppercase, so start with uppercase, search context. The first step, I need to import create context from React. The second step, I need to declare a variable, and the variable must be the same name as my context file. Here is search context, and I need to now execute my function. So it will be equal to, I need to execute my function, which is create context. And after that, I just need to export it. That's it. Why do we need? Why I need this file? I'll show you now why I need this file. Okay, after I created my context now, I will go to my app.jsx. And in my app.jsx, now I need to import this context I create. So what was the name? I can just say import search context, voila. So I'm just importing my search context. As you can see, that's my context. Now, to make some props available for all components, so now I have some props. Sometimes when I need to pass the props, I need to pass it to the child, right? And then again to the grandchild. But here, I will not gonna do that. What I'm going to do here, I'm gonna create a context, and I'm gonna wrap all my application here in this context here. So how can I do that? Well, I can just go here and I can say what search context. So I will call my API here. Oh, I'm sorry, my context here, which is called search context dot provider, and I will close it like that. And then I'm going here. I'm gonna cut it. I forgot this bracket. This bracket should be here. Let me get rid of this one, and let me get rid of this one. And voila. So what did I do here? I wrap all my app children inside this search context. That's my context dot provider. So what is this dot provider? What is this provider allow me now to put some variable or some data inside a context API, and now in each component I want to, I can access this variable. I know it doesn't make sense. Just wait now until it's like, yes, it's like a global state. Yeah. So now what I'm doing here, I just imported my search context, and here I will need to render it as a React component. Search context dot, I need to say dot provider, and here I need to close it. So everything inside the app.jsx must be surrounded by this one here, search context dot provider. And now here, this one here, this search context dot provider, it's a component. It's a component because I was able to put all my other component inside it, except one prop, and this prop is called value. And value here now I can add anything I want to inside this value, and I can access it inside any component. Okay, Now, what do I need here? Do I need any state inside my app.jsx? Do I need any state? Do I need any state inside my app.jsx? Well, yes, I need whatever the user type. Whatever the user type now, it is inside my component, which we called search. But I will need another state. Why? Because whenever I grab the value now, when I create the movie, I can just pass it to the movie directly here. So I'm going to create another state. I will name it const. Let's name it search. Let's name it just search. Search text. Set search text. And here it will be equal to use state, right? Voila. Let me get rid of this one. I don't have use state. I need to import it. Import use state. Voila, from React. And that's what I want to. Okay, now here it will be my text, the user input. Line 11, I have what? Search context, set search con. Yeah.
The L is missing in the first search.
Yeah, you are right. Search, yeah. Should be good now, right? Yeah. Okay, now what I can do? Well, I can now put these two values inside my context. So I can come here and I say search text. It's object, by the way. Here it's an object. Why? Because I created the object. See, this blue one here, I created. So I want to put inside this object two value, the search text and also set search text, which will be a function. So one of them is value and the second one, it will be a function. So I need to use it here. So I need to use this function if I want to set the value of the search. That's fine. For now, it's okay, not a bad idea. What do I want to do now? Well, what do I need to do now? Now I need to go to my search.jsx. Now, whenever I grab this value here, you see this value? Now I want to send a request to the, or I want to now call this function here in my app.jsx because I want to set the search text to this value. But how can I do that? Well, let's go to search. And now here I need to import something. So I need to import my context. What was the name of my context? Can anyone remember what was the name of my context? Search context. So I need to import it. Import search context. Voila, that's my search context. And also I need to import another hook. Can anyone tell me what is the hook? Use context. Use context like that. Okay. Now remember here, now I need to use this context. In the context, how many value do I have in my context? How many value do I have in my context? So my context here is an object with two values. The first value is search text, and the second value is set search text, which is a function I will use to change this value here. Okay? So now let's go here. Ignore this one for now. Let's go to search. I'm using this one. Now what I can do here, I can go in here and I can just say const. You can declare the variable you want to. You can just say const. Now, come on. Const. Now, my context, it was an object, right? My context was an object. Let's just make it data. It's equal to now use context, and I'm passing here my search context. Now, if I log the data here, it will be an object. Let's log the data. Let's go here, refresh. And as you can see, voila, that's my data. So my data or my context, I have search text, which is an empty string. And that's the function I will need to use to set the value. So now, as you can see, I don't need to use any props to pass this function inside the search. No, I just created a global state, and now I can access it anywhere I want to. But how can I use it? Well, I need to import use context, and I need to import the name of my context. Then I need to say const data, it's equal to use context. I need to pass the name of my context. But my data, as you can see, it's an object. Which one I need here? Do I need set search text or I need search text? set search text because I want to set the value. So what I can do here, I can grab this value, go here, and instead of having data, I can destructure it, and voila. And now here, that's my search text context. And now what I can do here in my submit, I can just check here if the value is empty string or not, because if the value is an empty string, I will not accept it, of course. So what I can do here, let me just do that. I can just say, no, if value.trim is equal to empty string, I'm gonna return else, I'm gonna set my search context. And of course, now here I can, I need to empty it as well. Set search, what was the value here? It was value. So I can just say value, no, set value. Because I need to empty set value, it's equal to empty string. Voila. And data here, I don't need it anymore. Voila. Is the idea clear here? What I'm trying to explain or not? If it's not clear, let me know. No? Ahlam. Not clear. Okay. Let me finish the project. I'm going to explain it again. Okay. So that's the first step. We finish it here. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. I will not put this one here. I will put nothing. And now I will go to my app.jsx. Now here's the value. I will put mine here. Let's log this value here. Log search text. Let's refresh. Now the log text is value by default is man. Now let's try to type something. And now if I click on search, if my code is working, I should see this value. Click, and voila, as you can see, I see it. So what's happening here? What's happening here in my search? I'm using this function inside app, this one. I'm using this function, and actually I'm just getting the function, and after that I'm setting the value here. It will not make sense. I need to create movie so it will be clear for you. Let's create the movie container, or AFCP movie container. I will need some props here because I need to access the movie like that. And yeah, let's just now export it here. In app, I will need my component, which is say import movies container like that. I need to render my movies container here. So let's render it here. And now here in movie container, what should I pass? What should I pass in my movie container? What should I pass in my movie container? Should I pass anything? Maybe I should pass the value here, right? Search text. Because I need the search text here. If I don't have the search text, what I'm gonna do? I cannot send a request to the backend here. So what I can do here, I can now just say value here. Let's name it search text. Search text. It will be equal to search text. Voila. So I created my movie container, but I cannot send a request to the backend. Why? Because I need the value here. And the value here, it will come from this state here, I will pass it to movie container. Now, if I go to my movie container now, don't worry, I'm going to explain it again when I'm finished. If I go to my movie container here, I will have one prop, and this prop, it will be just search text. And now in search text here, I need to do something here in my movie container. What do I need to do in my movie container? Do I have movies? Do I have movies? I need to send now a request to the backend to get my movies. So how can I send a request to the backend? Any idea? I need to use effect. So I need to use effect. Use effect, click. And now here in use effect, control this one, click. Pass it here. So in use effect now, I can simply send my request to the backend. It will take a function as a parameter, and the second one here, it will be an array of dependency. Now I want each time the search text change, whenever the user types something as a text change, I want to send a request to the backend. That's why Here, my use effect, it has one dependency, which will be search text. Each time the search text change, I want to send a request to the backend to get the new movie. So that should be okay. For now, I need to use now try and catch, right? Do I need to, no, before try and catch, I need to create a function. And this function need to be async function. So I can just say const, let's name it fetch movie, fetch movies, fetch movies, and it will be async function, as you know. Async, voila. And of course, now I need to call my function. If I don't call my function, it will not work. Voila. So what do I need to do here? Well, first I can say const, let's name it data. It's equal to, and now here I need to use await, and then I need to import my API. What is the name of my API? Get movies, right? So I need to import my API. Import get movies. It was get movie, right? Get movies. Okay, get movies from API/get movies. That's what I want to. Now I will just execute my get movies. Now my API was requiring a value, right? What was the value?
Samir,
Yes.
line number 4,
Yes.
part is wrong.
Line number 4, what's the problem?
APIs, you create APIs folder, but you put API.
It's not API. All right. Okay, thank you. Okay, now I am calling my API, but for my API, I need to pass the value. What is the value? Well, it will be search text, and that's my value. And here, of course, now what I can do, and for now, let's console.log my data. I will not do anything. I'm just going to console my log my data. But of course, I need to try and catch here. I forgot try and catch. So let's do try and catch. If in catch here, I will just need to create another stuff here. So let me create it for now like that. I'll just type error. And in here, I need to use finally as well, right? Finally, to get rid of the loader. I will not use these guys for now. Empty block, I know it's empty block. I'm just gonna try to now to see if my data, I'm getting my data or not. But I need to create actually a few states here. So I can just say const error. Yeah, movies, I will need movies, of course. I will need errors, loading, and I will need errors. Well, I need these 3. The loading, I need to import loading here. So let's import my loading. Loading. Why is not importing my component anymore? Import loading from, yes, and I need to import, what else? Nothing, I just need the loading, yeah. If I have an error and now I need to set my error to, the error I don't want to be null, I want to be empty string. If I have an error, I need to set my error to error dot message. Because I told you in Axios, if I have an error, I will have a message anyway. Loading here, I need to make it false. So set loading by default to true. And here I need to make set loading to false. Voila. That's what I want to for now. I'm just logging my data. So let's see if that will work or not. Yeah, I didn't import use state. That should be good now. Loading, I did not import loading. It's fine. I did not create anything. I just want to check my data. So let's refresh. And as you can see, well, I have my data actually. So if I log this one, see, I have my data and that's my movies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 9 movies. So my API is working fine. But as you can see now in my data, so here my data, it is an object. And my movie, where are my movie? I want my movie. Where are my movie? Where are my movie? They're inside an object called search. So now here, if I'm gonna reset my movie here, let's type search here. Come on, let's just copy you. Okay, let's go back. Now, if I want to update my movie now, what should I do? I will need to say set movies. Set movies. Should I say data or data.search? Is it data or data dot search? Data dot search.
Data dot search.
Data dot search. Yes, data dot search. And now here, now my movie is okay. So why? Because my data is including a lot of objects. One of these objects is search, and inside this search, I have my movie. Simple. Yes, guys, do you have any question? Question? Let's load those. So what I'm going to do here now, what I need to do, I need to first to add the loading. So I will say loading. And of course, if the loading is true, I will render my loading. I need to do the same for the error. Here, if the error like that. And now I'm just creating a p tag with the error because it will be a message. Remember, all the time in Axios, if you have an error, it will be an object. And inside this object, you have a property called message. Okay, now here I will need to render my movie if I have my movie. So what I can do here, I can just say if movie dot length greater than 0. So if my movie length is greater than 0, then what I can do here, I can now just say and. So that's my condition. And I can just say movie dot. Now I can map through my movies. Map. What is a single of movies? One movie. So movie like that. And of course, now I need to put this guy here and I put this guy here. So for each movie, what do I want to create? Well, I want to create for each movie a component called movie, which I don't have yet. So I can just say movie like that. And it should be uppercase. Movie. And this movie here, I will need to pass a key. As you can see, the key, it could be IMD now is one property which is unique. And I'm passing my movie data here. But I don't have movie container or component, so I need to create it, RAFCP. And here I will receive the movies. No, I need this one, then I need this one. I need to receive my movie. And now what I can do here, let me log the movie here. I will just log the movie to see what movie I am receiving here. Other than that, everything here should be fine, but I need to import my component, which is called movie. Yeah, so import movie from movie. Voila. Let's go here, refresh. And voila, as you can see, I am getting my movies. And in my movie, it will be an object. So I will have a poster, property poster here. It will be the URL for the image. I have the title, Iron Man. Why? Because by default, the keyword I put here, it was man. And type, and then I have year, and then I have this one, EMDPID. I can use this EMPID as a unique because that's the ID. And that's the reason why we use it here inside the key here. So we say movie dot IMPD. This one because it will be a unique key. Okay, that's fine. So I'm getting my movie data, as you can see. Now all I need to do, I need to create my movie component, and voila, it will be fine. So let's try to create a little bit my movie component. What should I create here? First, I think I will need to create a title and then an image. So here, as you can see here, movie.title, and then movie.poster, alt, it will be movie.title. Do I need to add something else? Maybe the year I need to add. If I want to add the year, maybe I can create a p tag for now, just now. And here it will be movie.year. Movie.year with capital E. Should be okay. Now I need to add my props here. Movie title, it will be no movie, it will be object, but I need to just here. So what I need to do here, I need to say movie prop type dot shape. I don't need an object, I need shape. Shape. And here in shape, I need this property, or all of them are string. Now, if I go to my application now, voila, so I have all my movie, everything related to Iron Man. Of course, it's not style, but you need to style it. Let me get rid of this console. I don't need it. And that should be okay. Good morning. Good, why not? But we still don't know if it's working or not, because we did not type anything. So let's try to type something. Let's try to type which movie do you like? Maybe Toll. You remember the Toll? If I type tool, it was just movie last. I don't know. Even I don't know. I just typed tool. And now either I'm going to click on the button and click enter. So let's click enter and see if we'll send a request or not. Enter. Voila. And as you can see, we have walking tool. We have in the tool grass, everything related to tool, as you can see. And if I go to my request, notice here in my request, HTTP www.omd api.com, and that's my API key. And also that the S word here, it will be tool, whatever the user type. And the page I'm on, that's me, I want the first page. And my project worked perfectly. Styling, I'm not gonna do it because even if I do the styling, you will use Material UI. That's simply our project. Now I want you to ask me, we didn't understand anything, can you explain again? Yeah? We didn't understand anything, can you explain it again? You understand everything? Let me repeat again. Fine. It will be easier for me anyway. Let's go here, let's go here. Now, the first step I need to do here in my project, of course, you need to know what library to install. First, I need to install Material UI. I didn't use it, but you're gonna use it. I need to install Axios. I need to install React icons. So that's for library. And for dependency, I need to install Prettier. That's first. I need to add this script format just to format Prettier. That should be easy. I need to create this file for Prettier, which is called .prettier.rc.json, and I need to put this setting. I share this setting with you already on Slack. Okay. Now first step I need to do, I will need to have an API key because this API does not allow anyone to connect or get data. You need an API key. But to prevent anyone to use my API key, I need to put it in somewhere safe. So where it will be? Well, it's quite simple. I need to create a file which its name is .inf. .inf, it means it's hidden file, okay? So .inf like that, it must be lowercase, and here I need to put some string and give the value of my API key. That's my API key, and here I need to start with Vite. If I don't start with Vite, Vite will not be able to find this API key. So I need to say Vite, all cap by convention, underscore API key, or whatever name you're gonna you wanna name it, it's fine, but it must start with Vite. I put my API key here, that's fine. Okay, now let me create my first step. I need to create my API because if I don't have an API, how can I send a request to the backend, right? So I will go here in APIs. I need to create this get movie. So first I'm using Axios, so I need to import Axios from Axios. Then here that's get movie, which is async function. I will try here, try const response is equal to await axios.get. That's my URL. So it's the same URL, but here I need to import my API key. How can I import a variable here? Well, I need to use $, curly brace, and that's how we import anything from .inf in Vite. Import .meta.inf. What was the name of my variable? It was Vite underscore API underscore key. And also I need the value, the user type, and the value user type, I cannot get it, so I make it as a, as you can see, as a parameter. So I need, whenever I call this API, I need to pass the value, the user type. And here S, it's equal to the value, and page is equal to 1. Simple. Now here, when we are using Axios, I will check if the status is not 200, that means my request was not successful. So I'm just checking if res.status is not equal to 100, I'm throwing an error. And here I need the status because it's quite important. It's telling me what is the problem. But if I have no problem, I'm gonna just return my data, res.data. I don't have to parse my data here because Axios by default parse my data for me. And of course, in the catch block, if I have an error, I'm gonna just log the error. Is this one clear for everyone? Clear? Fine. Now, after we create this one, we will go to our app.jsx. Or before our app, George, let's go to component here. First, I need to create different components. First, I need to create my header. What's fine, but how can I create a header? Well, I have a shortcut, which is RAFCP. If I do it this way, it will create a component for me. And here, I just want a header, and inside it, I want a H1. Of course, for the header, I need to pass a title. That's why here in my props, I'm receiving a prop called title. Because if I can hard code it if I want to, but it will not be useful. I need to pass it as a prop. And just as it, this one should be simple, right? Now let's go to the second one, which is loading. Loading also, as you can see, I didn't do anything in loading, but when you use Material UI, you have A loading here, all you have to do copy paste. Loading, there is no logic. It's just CSS styling only. So there's no logic in loading. After that, I need to go to search. Now here in my search, I need to have a form. And I need to have an input, so the user type something, and then I need to have a button. That's all I need. So here, as you can see, that's my form, that's my input, and that's my button. Now, because I am inside the form, that means if the user click enter or click on the button, which will be search, it will trigger the form, it will be submitted. Of course, I need this value. I need to control this value input, so I need to create a piece of state. As you can see, value set value. By default is empty string. And here on change, that means whenever the user change something, I want to change the value here. How can I change the value? I need to use this function, which is called set value. And I can just here, as you can see, I'm passing an arrow function because I need to use the event. I will say set value is equal to event.target.value. Simple. Okay. Now also I need on submit because I don't want the user, every time the user types something, to send a request to the backend. No, I want only when the user click enter or click on the button, and that's here on submit. So on submit, also I need to create an arrow function because I need the event. That's my function here, which is submit handler. So submit handler is very simple. First, I need to prevent the default. If I don't prevent the default, my page is gonna refresh. I don't want that. So first I need to prevent the default. Then I'll check if the value is, if I trim it, remove the white space. If it's empty string, I should do nothing. But if it's not empty string, I need to update this value here, which is called set search text. Now, from where I get this search text? Well, this search text, it exists in my app.jsx here, as you can see. But how can I access it here inside my search? It doesn't make sense, right? Well, that's with something we called context API. So to go to context API, how can I create a context API? Well, I'm creating a folder called context. And then here I can create any context I want to. Here I just name it search context. You can name it whatever you want to. I just name it search context. It must start with uppercase because later on I will render it as a component in React. So how can I create a context? Well, it's simple. First, I need to import something from React. We call it create context. Create context here is a function. So now what I need to do, I need to just create a variable, and this variable must be the same name as this file here, search context. I will execute my function. And when I execute my function, I will save it in this variable. Now this function will return me, it will return me something like a component. It will return me an object. So I'm doing here, I'm just now exporting this search context. Is the step here clear? So we have only 3 steps. First, I need to create a folder called context. Then I need to create a file. It depends what context you name it. You can name it title context. You can name it whatever you want to. Mine, I name it search context. And remember, it must start with uppercase. Okay, now in my file, what should I do? First, I need to import create context from React. Then, Radhika, you're sleepy? Then I need to create a variable, and the name of this variable must be the same name as of my file. Then I will just say const my variable, it's equal. I will now execute the function, which is create context. And when I execute it, it will return an object. I'm saving it in this variable. Now I need to export this variable. Voila. Now I create my context, but how can I use it? Well, I will go to my app.jsx, as you can see. I need to import my context. So as you can see, where is my context? Where is my context? Where is my context? Voila. Import search context from /context/search context. So I need to import this variable here, my context. After I import it, now I need to surround everything inside app with this one here. Search context, that's the name, .provider. And I will just treat it as a component. So this one, as you can see, and this one is a React component. It's a React component, but I need to put everything in app inside this component. And now search context.provider, it allows me to pass one prop. This prop is called value. And this value, I can make it an object. Why? Because if I make it an object, I can pass a lot of value. So what I'm doing here, I just value and I'm passing an object. So that's my object I am passing. Voila. And inside this object, I have 2 values. I have search text and I also have set search text. So this is a function to change the text. And here to access the value here, which is called search text. Is the idea clear? Yes, no? By the way, I can also not pass this value directly as a prop. I can also use search context to grab the value there. I'll show you now how. Let's complete it. Now, if I go to my, where is it? Here. If I go to my search, now I need to access my context. Why? Because I need this function, which is called set search context or set search text. I need it, but how can I grab this value? How can I access my provider? How can I access my context? Well, to access it here, I need to use just one hook, which is called use context. So I need to import this one, use context. And then here, I can just say use context, and I need to pass the name of my context. That's why I import the context here. Import search context from // context search context. So I'm just gonna use this hook, and I will pass the name of my context. Voila, that's it. And here it will return me an object with all the value inside my context API. Because it's an object, I can destructure it, and I only want set search text. Now I grab this function, so I can use it directly. I can just say set search text, and now I can pass the value the user input. And voila. At the end, I need this value, the value here, the value of the input. I need to make it empty string, because when the user types something and enter, I want whatever inside the input to be an empty string to remove. That's why I say set value is equal to empty string. Clear? Yes, no? You need to practice it. You need to practice it. Okay, that's fine. Now here in movie container, as you can see, I am doing something here in movie container which I don't like. I am passing search text as a props. Can we not pass it as a prop? Can we just not pass it as a prop? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is. Where is my search text here? Let's go to our app.gsx. Is search text inside my context or not? Is search text inside my context or not? Yes, no? It is inside. That means I don't need to pass it as a prop. No, I can access it the same way I access set search text. So I can now here remove this one. Remove it. I don't need any props here. See, just I need a prop for the header. And now what I can do, I can go to my movie container, and in my movie container now I will try to access my context. How can I do that? Well, first I need to import my context name. What was the name of my context? Import. What was the name? Search context, right? Search context. Voila. And I need to import another hook. What was the name of the hook? Use context. Use context. Use context. Voila. And now all I have to do now to grab my data, I can go here and I can just say const data, it's equal to use context, and I will pass the name of my context. But now here, this one, it will return me an object. Why? Because here in my app, this value here, it's an object. So it will return me this object, but I don't want the object. I just want this one, search text. So I can destructure it directly. Instead of just saying data, I can destructure it, voila, like that. And voila. And that's my search text. And here I'm using search text. I'm using search text. Identifier search text has already been declared. So what I can do here, I can just remove it from here. Voila. And now I don't need it as a prop. Voila. Yeah, I'm not setting the error here. I need to set the error here. Set error. Set error. And now everything should be fine. Now let's go to test it to see if it's still working or not. Well, let's refresh. Well, it's still working, as you can see. Let's type what movie you have in mind. Hero? Hmm? La La Land? La Land, right? Okay, let's see now. Close our now here. I need just to click on search or enter. Click on search, and voila, La Land, La Land. Voila. Cool. Yeah, it's look like the movie she choose are very nice, but I have a small problem. Can anyone tell me what is the problem here? Can anyone tell me what's the problem here? I have a slightly a problem. What is the problem? Can anyone tell me? Some movie does not have a poster, right? So what should I do? Maybe I can have an image, and this image, if there is no poster, I can render it. Huh? So I can have an image, And this image, for example, yeah, no image, exactly. So I can just say no image or no poster, but let me see here my property inside my data. So if I click on this one, I go to my data preview, response, it will be good. So when I don't have a poster, as you can see, the value is n/a. So sometimes I don't have a poster, so the value is n/a. So how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple. Let's go to my movie container, and here I can just say here movie.poster. If it's equal to in capital slash, come on, /a. So then if it's equal to this one, I can now render something. And if it's not equal to this one, I can render its poster. So here I can just say, for example, here I can just put this one here, and I can just say movie.poster. That, of course, if it exists, poster capital P. Voila. But if it does not exist now, I need to show a movie, for example, no image like that. But I don't have no image now. I need to somehow go here, and maybe I can create a new folder here, and I call it assets, maybe, right? And in assets, maybe I can now search for an image. So let's go find an image. Let's name it here, no image found, something like that. Yeah, no image found, as you can see. And now what I can do here, I can just, well, I have two options. Either I can just download it on my application, or I can just copy image address. So let's copy the email address for now. I'm not gonna put it in asset, but if you want to put it in asset, it's possible as well. Well, maybe it's a good idea, because like that, I need to show you how you can do that. So let me save it. Save image as, and here, let's just name it no image. Okay, now I need to go to my download. No image. Voila, I'm gonna copy this guy. And now I need to go to my my repo. So desktop, I think it's inside desktop. Hack here future, front end, and it should be inside React. And the project called React Get Movies, I think. And in here, I created asset, if I'm not mistaken, no? Okay, let's just put it here. Now I will create an asset. Okay. Let's go in here. That's my movie. Let's create that's my asset. So let's move the image here. Voila, put it inside here. Voila, now here, if it does not, now I need to import the image. How can I import the image? Any idea? Import no image. As you can see, import no image. That's the name. From, now here I am inside my component. So I need to go out, right? So dot slash, then I go to assets, then slash no image dot png, and voila. Let's see if that will work or not. Let's go. Yeah, it's failed to resolve.
Image extension is wrong, huh?
I'm sorry, Dinian. Yeah, this one, the link is not correct. So the extension is not correct here, and the name is not correct as well. So it should be no image dot gbeg. And let's see if that work or not. So now I need, what was the name again? La La Land, right? La La Land. Enter. No.
Space between Lala.
No space. La La Land. Okay. And voila, as you can see, when I have no image, I have this photo here. Of course, you need to style it to make it the same as those. But now here you can have this one, image not found, like that. And I have, voila. Cool. Is the project clear for everyone? Now you know how to create a context API. Okay, you have to do your best. If you have a question, you can ask me. Of course, it's related to the context. Other than that, you will need to use Material UI to build the structure of your application. For styling, you don't need any CSS at all. Other than that, everything is easy. You have your API key, you have everything. Just a second, let me stop recording. Stop.